All right, Mr. Chafin, if you could start off our presentation with a little whip, we'd really appreciate it. Yep. Get up. Let's do it.
Thank you, Ken, for that. Wonderful, formative.
All right, we're going to start this off. This is an Algebra 1 lesson on graphing absolute value functions. We know that our Algebra 1 kids know that an absolute value of x graph looks like a basic V shape facing up.
Some ideas that you're going to be using when you're doing these absolute value equations are translations. Moving left, moving right, moving up, moving down. Also, opening up or opening down.
Fancy. He's so fancy. All right.
You know it, Nancy.
What happens to our graph if we have +3 outside the absolute value bars? If it started at the origin, that +3 shifts it up 3 units. And therefore, what you can add to your guided notes is if we add a number outside the absolute value bars, then the graph is translated 3 units up or whatever.
Fantastic. That's because that 3 is outside. Well, if we have a -4 outside the absolute value, yes, indeed, we are going to translate down. So if we start at the origin, we're going to go down 4. Therefore, if you subtract a number outside the absolute value, yes, you're going to translate down. The V shape goes downer. Down. My bad. I like my name.
What happens if we've got a constant inside my absolute value bars? Might have shifted up, down, left, right. We would discover with our kids, it is going to shift it left 5 units.
What? Left?
What?
Not what I thought.
Therefore, if the constant is inside the absolute value bars, the graph is shifting left if it's plus a number.
Lombardi, that's mind-blowing. So if we subtracted a value inside the absolute value, that must mean we shift to the right. Is that right?
That's it, girl.
There we go. So we're going to shift to the right.
To the right.
When it's subtracting inside the absolute value.
And what happens if we've got a negative graph? Holy smokes, it's going to take my entire graph, whoop, flip it down. Oh, not tilted, but it's going to just exactly flip it over, oh gosh, the x-axis. And therefore, if I've got the negative sign in front of the bars, it is going to make my graph open
So it
down.
opens downer?
Downer.
Excellent. To summarize, absolute value, if you have a positive in the front, you are going to open up. And if it's negative in the front, you're going to open down. If you have a value inside the absolute value and it's positive, it translates left. But if it's negative, it's going to translate right. And if it's outside the absolute value, positive translates up and negative translates down. That's all from Lombardi and I.
That's it.
Woo! Peace out.